The serial position effect is a tendency to recall earlier words in a list rather than the words in the middle of the list. The tendency to recall earlier words in the list is a primary effect, and the tendency to recall words later in the list is called the residency effect. In 1962, Bennett Murdoch conducted an experiment where he asked participants to learn a list of words that varied in length from 10 to 40 words and free recall them. Each word was presented for 1 to 2 seconds. In his results, he found that the probability of recalling any word depended on its position in the list, its serial position. Words presented either earlier in the list or at the end of the list were more often recalled, but the ones in the middle were more often forgotten.
Serial position effect occurs because of the primacy and recency effect. Primacy effect is how people tend to remember the items at the beginning of a list better than those in the middle. It can be explained by something called free recall and experiments conducted in 2011 by Coluccia, Gambas, and Brandimonti, where they had read a list of words to participants who knew they were going to be tested on recalling the words in the list. Participants tended to repeat words to themselves as they were being presented, and they found that the words at the beginning were being repeated more than those in the middle, thus giving us primacy effect. Recency effect is the tendency to remember more often the most recent item in a list than those previous to it. Recency effect can be explained by dual store and single store models. Dual store models explain how the most recent things in a list are stored in highly accessible short-term memory, while items presented early in a list are stored in the long-term memory store, which takes more effort to retrieve. Single store models explain the distinctiveness of items in an individual's memory is determined temporally, thus most recent items are most distinct and easier to retrieve.
To test the serial position effect, I gathered 3 of my friends and family to be test subjects. I informed them to listen to the 10 words I was going to say and then write down as many as they could remember after I had finished. I gave all 3 the same list of words:
rock, dog, chair, bacon, gold, key, purse, pen, beach, watch.
At the end, I told them what they might have just experienced.
So, what you just experienced was a serial position effect, where if I read off a list of 10 or 15 words, people are more likely to memorize or to remember the ones at the end of the list rather than like in the middle or at the beginning, or even at the beginning and the end. They're more likely to have those stick out in their brain rather than the ones that were in the middle.
After they had finished, I checked their answers. I was surprised to see that everyone had remembered 7 to 8 words, and the words that they forgot were closer to the end of the list rather than in the middle. The cool part about this effect is that anyone can experience it and anyone can try it. So gather up a few friends and read them a list of 10 to 15 words and see which words they remember.